Hi guys, Dr. Lena coming to you from Australia. And I think we're almost in spring. That'd be good. That'd be so good. Now, since we last spoke, so many things have happened, including that the proceedings in Georgia are going to be televised, and the Yeti's lawyers asked for that. I think it's great. So Mary Trump said somewhere, "Hi, Mary," that she thinks, of course, he's attracted to that, the idea of being on television day after day after day. But it's not going to be marvelous for him as the evidence comes out, So that's good news. The other thing is 16 fake electors in Michigan have been charged as well. So we have to keep a look on that. Now, what I want to look at first today, and there's a pile of things we need to get through, but 3 people have been indicted over the harassment of Ruby Freeman and her daughter in Georgia. Right, remember, they put out their address and all of that stuff, and Giuliani said he saw this footage and that footage. Oh, Giuliani. He really has lost the plot, has he not? But let's look at Ruby Freeman and her daughter now, because they've been to hell and back. And let's have a look at the people who have been charged for, I'm not sure what the charge is, but it's like putting them in danger or, libel, really. You could make a libel case of the way they were treated. So let's look, Ruby Freeman. Oh, what fell out? The Hierophant. Let's have a look. So we'll keep the Hierophant in here. And we will look at what else is going on for them. Oh, why the 3 of Swords? It was all going so well till I got the 3 of Swords. So we'll have to do some clarifiers on that. Oh, no, that's the 3 people. Oh, okay. As you were. I think this is good. Okay. Here, in the One World Tarot, don't forget, guys, if you haven't got your copy of the One World, it comes with a book. And make sure it's not a pirated copy, okay? Now, the Hierophant, the church, the White House, the courthouse, all these things come together in this case. Okay, so the systems of society that keep people safe are represented here, the procedure of law, etc., etc. So I'm very happy to see that. I think they're going to get a payout at the end of all this. Maybe not as much as they want or deserve, but enough to change their lives for the better with this 10 of Cups rainbow. Happy with that? And further agreements and contracts. This could translate into a book or something like that they wouldn't have dreamt of. Before, they were just decent citizens doing their thing to help at their local electoral office, and then all this happened to them. And I think offers will be made maybe for paid interviews or something like that, because, I'm loving that. Then the 3 of Swords, and I went, oh. But I'm quite clear now. I stop and think about it for a moment. The 3 people who will be charged will, I think, be found guilty, and it's going to wreck their lives. Sorry that you felt you had to poison the water of other people, which is what you did when you went out and did that thing. I'm not overwhelmed with sympathy for these people, but they're probably ordinary people who made a bad decision, but this is going to come back to haunt them. Okay, So that's Ruby. I want to have a look. Now the revelations keep coming out about Clarence Thomas and his beloved wife, Ginny. So what I want to ask is, where is Justice Roberts? This is his Supreme Court, the Supreme Court that has no ethics committee, that one that rules the United States of America. Like, really? So it's his job to make sure things are running smoothly. And I would have thought it was his job to now investigate some of these 38 allegations or whatever's out there. So what's happening with Justice Roberts? I thought he was a decent guy in the early days. It just goes to show, never trust a conservative. You know, you try and be humane and then they go and spit in your face. You know, like what? Justice Roberts. Okay. And the Clarence Thomas affair. Oh, God. Oh, yeah, well, what's he going to do? I'm glad you asked, okay? Because the answer is nada. He's not going to do a thing. He's married to the situation as it is. Queen of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles. Oh, money. Oh, you know, they're so used to this. I suspect there's more of this has gone on. Clarence Thomas is probably the worst example, but these are money cards. And in particular with this knight, the mercenary, look, this pentacles are also supposed to be about your values, but it's like there's been a transplant in the American brain on the conservative side of things that they no longer actually believe the national narrative themselves. You know, how can they say they are there to uphold law and order at the highest level in the land and let the mercenaries sit in the middle of it? You know, he's as bad as they are. The false knight. Okay. Now, strictly speaking, this is a page and the Knight of Cups is the false knight, but this is the energy I'm getting off this card. He's so disappointing. But on the upside, as Hogarth would say, stinky fish. I think this is going to cause some ruckus for Justice Roberts, but not enough to move him along. This is still passive. I'm just getting total non-action across the board. Ugh, how disappointing. You know, and an oath's only as important as you believe it to be. I mean, I'm sure Clarence Thomas had his fingers crossed behind his back when he took his oath, but Justice Roberts is more old school, but he's letting it happen. Well, let's hope the stinky fish come and get put outside his office door. You know? I'm in that sort of mood, viewers. Okay, so that's him. Now, and we've got to remind ourselves, back to Georgia. I know I'm jumping everywhere. Back to Georgia. I think there are 30 non-indicted co-conspirators as well. So a lot more people are going to get swept up in this. Okay, now, in other news, I couldn't believe this when it came out during the week. You think you can't be surprised? You know how it is? You think, really? There's no more bad behavior to be had. They can't actually sink any lower or debase themselves any more than they have. But you'd be wrong. So Sidney Powell, Giuliani, the attorneys that are getting hauled in to these court cases, this is particularly Jack Smith, they're the memos, the texts, etc., now reveal that the Yeti offered to pay them to back the whole election was stolen line. Right. Now, paying them, meaning bribing them. He actually set out to bribe them. Now, what happened then? They agreed. They agreed to the bribe. Why are they upset now? Because he didn't pay him. He just thought, oh, look, it'll be good television if I can get 3 or 4 lawyers to say this was stolen, that has more weight. And it did. And they did. Right? And you'd have to think Sidney Powell is a slow learner. After the Dominion case, where she was talked about but actually skated, you'd think she'd be more onto it. But no, oh, look, I hope her time is coming. Okay, so, and I digressed. You know how Trump said a couple of weeks ago, there's going to be a report out next week and it's going to exonerate me and to prove I'm innocent of 91 charges. A miraculous document, you'd have to agree. But of course, it didn't manifest. The next week came and went, no report. But to those who are welded on to this man, doesn't matter. And now Giuliani is saying today, he's going to have scientific evidence. I love it when they use the S word, scientific evidence, to prove what he said about votes being stolen. Now, it's not going to happen. Don't forget, they spent millions. Remember on the cyber ninjas and all that madness, millions of taxpayer dollars wanting to find something. The GOP wanted to find it and they couldn't find it because it didn't happen. And he's coming out now. So, okay. Let's just see how Giuliani's doing. Checking in. Not the most stable of creatures at this point, you'd have to think. Let's have a look. Quick one on Giuliani. He gets a Hierophant too. Oh my God. Oh my God. Look at that. Look at that, viewers. Look at that if you're learning tarot. 4 cards and they're all majors. I just explained law and order. Judgment, the death card. And you know what? It has to happen. Wheel of Fortune. The time's come. His number's up. Just saying. Now let me put them back in different parts of the pack and give everything a good shuffle. Now I've got a really important question here before we move to Hurricane Hillary. Now, some of you would have caught this. Others, how can you catch everything when you're bombarded and gaslit every waking moment of your life? It's really hard to keep across the real news. But Murdoch has been seducing Glenn Youngkin, Virginia, governor of Virginia. My heart sank when I saw this because Murdoch, if nothing, is a kingmaker. And he's obviously decided Youngkin would be the best bet. He's moved on from the Yeti. The Yeti made him a lot of money, but lost him a lot of money. I think he gained more than he lost, but it's not the point. He's moved on. He's not interested in DeSantis. Youngkin. So let's have a look at Glenn Youngkin's cards. Will he step in? I don't know when the cutoff for the president for 2024 is. If anyone knows, let me know in the comments, please. He might have even missed the cutoff. in which case this could be for the next round, but I'm going to treat it like it's 2024. Glenn Youngkin, Virginia, Rupert Murdoch. What's happening with Glenn Youngkin? What's happening with Glenn Youngkin? I mean, I just saw his picture. He doesn't look like the worst of the worst. I think this could be Murdoch, you know, trying to do it differently. Not properly, but do it differently. Let's see, Glenn Youngkin. Look, this is a preliminary read on this topic. Okay, like I said. But these cards are not the cards of a winner. Let's say. It starts with the 5 of Cups, loss and regret. It moves to the Hermit, no one knows who he is. The 4 of Pentacles, he's holding on. I think what's being debated in his own head and probably within his own family group is, I'm the governor of Virginia. I'm the governor of a great state of the USA. Maybe that's enough. Maybe I'll just stay with that, hold on to that, than throw myself to the piranhas. However, it's not an absolute no, because he could be talked around. Murdoch is a very powerful and influential man, and a compromise could be reached. So the compromise could be from Murdoch, well, it's too late for this run, but I've got my eye on you, lad, you know, and we could be a team for the next round or something. Mind you, Murdoch wouldn't remember his name, you know, if he says no to him. But I think those cards are interesting, but no, I feel a bit calmer. Because the problem is someone like Glenn Youngkin, who at least doesn't look like he needs an exorcist. I mean, he looks sort of normal. Could appeal to independent voters who think Biden looks too old. I'm sorry, we can't escape this issue. That's what the focus groups keep saying. Nice guy, too old. So he could be appealing to that cohort. Yeah. Okay. Now, big weather. Now, before we get to Hurricane Hillary, big prayers for Maui, still going up. Maui's getting a lot of good energy sent there because I think many people have positive associations of Hawaii and Maui in particular. And blessings to Oprah Winfrey, who I think is there on the ground, and she's opened her wallet, as she does. Pity she's on her own. Let me know if I'm wrong. I'm hoping other big donors have stepped in. But what I'll do is I'll put up links, like ethical links where you can donate for Maui, okay, in the comments. Okay, so Hurricane Hillary, it's belting Southern California now. I don't just want to restrict it to this particular storm front. I think I'll go general. I'll pull a bit more cards and look at the rest of the summer, at least through September into early October, what to expect from big weather events. Big weather events. Okay. Now, before I pull these cards, Biden apparently is going to Maui, or might be there now or something. He's being asked to declare a climate emergency, which would be a major statement on the world stage about climate change. Will he do it? No. None of them have the cojones to be the first, right? including. So he'll say things like terrible weather events and we're really sorry and all of that. But a few of you asked me, would he make that statement? No. He might, and I'll be the first to be back on YouTube going, good on you. But no. Even though they're allegedly pushing this green agenda and all of that, they're not moving fast enough and in big enough ways to make a global difference. The global leaders are not. They should be supporting each other in this issue, if nothing else, if no other issues. Okay, so this is the physical weather for those states that are vulnerable. All right, now, the first card to come out here, this is a judgment on all of us. I often see the judgment card as the collective at work, people waking up to what's going on. Okay, so we, the people in every country, there's some of us who have been watching this for decades, who understand it, who get it, who want to see a difference. More people are gradually joining that camp. This is a wake-up call, literally. I'm talking about Hurricane Hillary here along with the others, and there will be others. So what is happening is quality of life. Nine of Pentacles is the card of having everything you need and things are going along and everything's fine and your 16-year-old isn't pregnant and so on, you know, the good life. Being kind to animals and, you know, the fruits and bounties is at risk. We're being told it's at risk, you know? But people are thinking about it, but they're not acting on it. If you think of this as a call to arms for climate change, this is having a lie down. Okay? No, it's not a time to be lying down. It's a time to speak the truth and a time of action. This is the big action ace. Look at this Ace of Swords. You know, we're being told. But I'm an optimist by nature. And while the majority of people are lying down now and praying things will get better, here's celebration. And I think there'll be some climate wins out of this. There'll be something that is worth celebrating, right? There'll be some sort of, maybe even with this, a technological breakthrough about something, could be fire management or water management or something. This is more optimistic than that. Okay, so I'm liking this. I think it could be led by women and supported by all decent men. And I think this action, and it might be a law or something like that, that pushes things forward, that can be the basis for working magic, right? And expanding that. The tools are there. The people power is there. It's just latent. And people sort of, they care. A lot of people, I'm not talking about the deniers. You can't help them. The ones who sort of know instinctively things are wrong and need to change, but their own priorities always impinge on them doing anything. So they're lying down. This can give energy and maximize change for the good. And all the suits are there to do that. This is people coming together. And I think it'll come on the back of some sort of celebration. All right, guys. So don't forget, check out these links I'm going to put up for help for Lahaina, and a big aloha to Maui and Hawaii. Okay. I love you guys, and we'll speak soon. Take care.